All right, we are recording.
Okay, so first item, just a reminder that December 20th, which is a Thursday, is our wig day, which should be a lot of fun. I have everything booked and ready to go. So just plan on being at the Carlisle Movie Theater at 11:30, and I'll send it out to everybody so they have it. And we'll be back around 4:30 or 5.
Very good. And we decided yesterday at our meeting that we're going to make that day a little bit about Lainey, and we're going to get her a gift, and it'll kind of be like it'll be about reaching our goal, but we'll also celebrate Lainey there, and we decided we're going to get her a digital picture frame that's called a Nix Play, and what you can do with Nix Play is you can, there's an email address associated with it, and you email pictures to the email address, and it'll just automatically pop up on her picture frame. So when we're doing things here, we want to shoot her a picture, it'll pop up on her counter in the Philippines. Her family can do the same thing, and send pictures of them, and it'll just be always rotating, things like that. So the cost of that is going to be somewhere between $5 and $10 per person. So we'll get that from you.
Dave has some docs that he wants to review that are coming around. There's 3 of them. Take 3 and pass the rest down. This is very difficult for everyone right now.
They're sticking.
It's like, are they sticking?
Let's welcome Victoria to the first team meeting.
Right.
She's working hard. She's doing 15-hour days here.
As you guys are passing these around before you are talking about them, for everybody in the seller section, when you get there and shift, I wanted to talk about this morning, I forgot. Even buyer's agents, I think this is really important as the career track starts to change and you may find yourself taking listings. There is a section that talks a lot about pricing, which I think Dave might talk about, and another section that talks a lot about staging. And I know when we were doing listings, you guys said, this is a conversation that feels kind of new to me. It's really important. Read that section. It's hard to have more notes.
Yeah, awesome. So, we're skipping. These are the. This is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. So what you have in front of you are 3 templates that we are going to use after the first of the year a little bit. And I would say it's just on an as-needed basis. I'm not going to go into detail on each one now and teach on them, but we are going to do a little bit of a training on what happens in a shift with pricing. It's going to be really good for you to read the shift book, as Drew said, and get a better handle on that. There's this thing that happens. I just did a video on it to the entire MLS called Chasing the Market. And it's a really important thing because in a shifting market, whether it happens this coming year or even next year, you can lose as a homeowner thousands and thousands of dollars. And as agents who are advising our homeowners, I've seen agents advise wrong and homeowners lose $100,000 to $110,000 on their asset. That's a big issue. That's not I missed a deposit check and I lost you $5,000. That's I blew your 2 kids' college education. And so the responsibility of that, just to understand what happens in a shifting market is really important and not to back away from educating the sellers on that. So it not only helps you and your income to know how to advise on a shifting market, but it helps your sellers as you're their fiduciary. So these are just some templates that we're going to use to talk through some of that. So the first one is the average housing cycle, if you have a copy of that. And for those of you listening, Brittany and Sarah, or Sarah, I guess, because Brittany's here beside me, you'll get a copy of these in your mailbox. But the housing cycle, 7 to 10 years. I think historically it's an 8 to 12 year cycle. So that I differ with that a little bit. But economically speaking, if you look back to first census data on United States housing, it is clockwork. It's not a new thing. Every 8 to 12 years, there's a housing cycle. And there's a process to it. And this really helps our sellers understand where we may be in the process. And so you can see 2017, it says euphoria. That would be nationally. In Cumberland County, we usually lag by 12 to 24 months from the rest of the nation. So if euphoria was 2017 nationally, euphoria may have been spring of 2018 here. And we felt that. And so if that's true, then denial, may come sometime in 2020 for us, not in 2019. And then fear and panic. Now, the recession that we may be shifting into isn't based on unhealthy problems. So the recession that we had, which is called the Great Recession in 2009, was based on overvalued assets. And the reason the assets were overvalued is the inherent value of them were not actual values that the market should have been willing to pay. They were based upon unprecedented credit risk. And so banks were giving money to people who couldn't afford to own a home at unprecedented rates, which meant demand was more than what it should have been, because these people shouldn't have been buying. So demand was really high and supply was fixed, and it pumped the values of these assets up. And then when the market realized that these people shouldn't have owned a home and they're all going to foreclose, then the market corrected, and it overcorrected like it always does. What goes up must come down. And we went into a great recession, not a normal market correction. What we're dealing with this time is the Federal Reserve's touching on interest rates, and we're not dealing with unhealthy credit problems. And so we're probably going to see a normative market correction, which is great, right? And it's just about advising our clients on what that means for them. When they're hearing from their friends that their friends got 10 offers on their property last year and sold for more than asking, and they're like, well, we need to price it. I know you're saying it's worth 200. We really should price it at 250. It's being able to lay this document out on a housing cycle, and then lay these documents out beside them and teach our sellers on what decision they're making by overpricing and how that could affect them by tens of thousands of dollars if they overprice in a shifting market. Okay, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. If it doesn't, it will when you get almost exactly halfway in shift.
Yeah, cool. So just take a look at each one of those so you have a basic understanding of them, and we'll teach on them a little bit more after shift. And it's something that we'll probably give to you in your listing packets, so that you can decide to pull them out if you're having a tough conversation and you need to teach a little bit, or you can decide to hold off on it if it's not a difficult conversation. And then, of course, we have the risk assessment addendum, which is if they do still choose to overprice a property even after you've taught them the risks of it, that will allow them to sign off that they've acknowledged the risks, and we've presented that to them, and shows them that also if they're going to overprice, we advise a reduction within 4 weeks if nothing happens. Okay?
All right, net promoter score and contract to close changes. So in January, I'll be scheduling kind of a training with all of you. I'll just add it to your calendars. And it's going to revolve around some changes in the after-sale follow-up process. You guys will still do like your after-sale calls where you ask for a Zillow review and check in. But I will also be calling every client that closes probably 3 to 4 days after closing and getting a good survey from them. And then you guys will just piggyback off of that to ask for a review and just follow up like you normally would. So we'll go over some training and some new processes around that. And then we made a few changes to contract to close, mainly on the list side. So we'll sit everyone down and take you through the new plans and go over those as well. So I'll get that in your calendar someday in January. No changes now.
And I've reviewed the little bit about the shift in listing side administrative changes with John and St. John, so you kind of get a feel for that, but you'll see the actual documents. All right, number 4. Let's hear for Drew Richmond. She is stepping into a very precarious role, and it's a challenging role, and she's doing it because she's excited about it. She wants to. We've talked about it for almost a year. And similar to when we had an opening in the ops director position, we allowed Jenna to step her toe into that position for a while. And that's often what we do on the team, because we don't know if they may hate it or, it just may not go well. So she's going to be doing an interim role, or we're going to call it associate sales director, for 90 days. And the purpose of that is so she can see if it's a good fit and the team can see if it's a good fit. Drew's role will be about 12 hours a week, and her primary role will be to help lead and bring energy to the morning meetings along with me. And then also she'll be doing a lot of prospecting and teaching on prospecting and coaching and setting appointments for the agents. So she won't necessarily be taking most of the appointments that she sets. And then additionally, she's going to be working with Victoria in a 2-month intensive training with Dale Archdeacon that we're funding for them. And so they're going to be doing how many hours of training a week?
4.
4 hours of training a week with Dale and his team on just going deeper and deeper on how to convert business as an ISA. And then additionally, she'll be shadowing on one-on-ones with me. So she'll be part of those conversations, as you guys know. And she'll be on the APA meetings, so to be looking at your next year, and then also just be there for you guys when you might need a shadow, or you might need some extra teaching, or you might have a question on transactions or something like that. Anything you want to say or add to that?
No, other than I'm excited.
Good.
I'm excited. I was actually just talking with Matt about it, and he said, "Is this going to change your time much? You know, like nights and weekends and things like that?" And I said, "You know, not really, because over the last year, he was asking me about like what my nights and weekends look like, and I don't think that I have worked a single weekend in 2018." And he was shocked whenever I said that, and so we were just talking about what that looks like, and so I think what I'm most excited about is, you know, seeing you guys go through some of the places that I've been through, and get you to a place where your lives are different. So
yeah, and the goal, I love, you know, when I went through stuff, I didn't have a team, and my goal has always been, in as I've grown and tried to fail forward in leadership, is to make the path to that easier, so you don't have to fail as much as I did. And I think the cool thing about Drew is that she's been in your roles in the team, literally all of them. And so the goal is that she can help you not have to fail as much as she did in doing listings, or in being an ISA, or in, you know, being a buyer's agent, so we can get you further faster, which would be cool.
And then the really cool thing about all of that is it frees Dave's time up so that he can help us to grow even more.
Yeah, so if I can do more systems work and marketing work, I can drive more value to the team operationally and from a lead standpoint and all that good stuff. So it'll be cool. It's exciting. All right, career track start date. So I was able to review career track with everyone but Andrew. Fortunately, Andrew, I don't think there's any change on there for you. So, but yeah. I've reviewed the updated career track with everyone, but Andrew and Victoria. Victoria hasn't seen it either, but there's no change on it for her role as well. But Sarah, Brittany, Drew, St. John, and John, and so that will start on any new contracts so has nothing to do with closings. It's any new contracts that come through and are ratified after January 1st. Okay. And so we will do a final end of year team meeting where we'll talk a little bit more about the career track, but also we'll be talking about it on your one-on-ones and your APA meetings, which are scheduled for next week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they
Don't
are.
worry about it.
Some of them are scheduled for next week. I think Andrew's is on Monday. Yeah, you all should have gotten it.
Yeah, you all got calendar invites for your APAs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we'll do those next week.
Yep.
All right, family reunion is in February. I just promised to keep you updated on that. I believe it's towards the middle of February, like the 16th to the 19th-ish. It's over a long weekend. It's in New Orleans. It is not cheap, so it is full of training, particularly on KW technology. For those of you who are a little newer, I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's going to be complete overwhelm over top of what you already have. For those of you who are a little bit more seasoned, and you can, afford it, and you want to take a little extra time out, it will be probably a lot of really cool technology stuff that they're going to be rolling out in 2008 and 19. I will be going to it, and so if nobody else goes, I'll be taking good notes and try and review with you what I learned in it.
I mean, they're probably going to cover command, correct?
They will cover all of command. Yeah, in KW Labs. Yeah, you would probably really like it. Yeah, seriously.
I despise New Orleans.
Yeah, I've heard. Andrew hates New Orleans too. Yeah.
Intensive. Another trip. So March 2nd through the 6th. It's actually, so I put the dates down here it's a Saturday through a Wednesday. You have the option to only go, Sunday if you want to. But it looks like I did some preliminary pricing. Flights are anywhere between $230 to $350. Intensive tickets are always $99. And I did actually go in and get some room pricing as well. With a roommate, it's going to be about $571 a person for the room.
For all the nights.
For all the
together.
nights. Yep. So that brings the total to probably around $900 to $1,000. So it's a little bit pricier than our last one.
The team covers
the team covers the ticket.
The
registration. So that puts you around $900 is where I'm guessing. I would like to get a final count by the end of this week, if possible, because they said that these rooms are going to fill up pretty fast at this resort that we're staying at. It looks really nice. So if you guys want to ask me questions about it or talk to your spouses, just let me know what you decide.
Yeah, and for this one, I would highly, highly, highly recommend, that if you can swing it, that you consider going. If money is going to get in the way of you going or not, I want to hear from you before you decide not to go. If you're thinking, I'd like to go, I hear great things about this workshop when the team comes back, but I just don't think it's in the cards financially for me, I want you to at least contact me and tell me that, so I can see if there's anything creative that we can do. If you don't mind, John, can I share a little bit about, so last intensive, or two intensives?
It was the spring one.
It was a spring one, so 2 intensives ago. John did just that. He said, I'd kind of like to go, but it's the winter and it's slow in the winter and I'm not sure I should spend that money. So we sat down and we figured out a way to get his production up so we could make, I said to him, if the cost, I think it was $650 or something. And I said, so here's the challenge. We're going to 3 times the cost. And so we put our heads together and made some goals for the next 60 days. And I said, not only are we going to make enough money that you're going to pay for it, we're going to do some extra activities that you're going to pay for it 3 times. So because you have a challenge, you're going to pay the $650 and you're going to make another $1,200. And he did. I mean, I think you did. I think you 3x'd it. Yeah. So if money is the problem, just talk to me so we can see if we can figure it out.
Yeah, and we always try to go Saturday to Wednesday, but you can just go Sunday to Wednesday if you want. So there's some flexibility there. Just see me if you want to talk about that.
And if anybody wants to go on Saturday, I'd love to go check out that big old crater in the earth.
John's planning a trip to the
John
Grand
wants to go to
Canyon.
Grand Canyon.
Where is this? Arizona?
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, and I'll just to add to Dave, and I'll talk to Dave too about some of these kind of creative financial things. I can't tell you how much I would love to see all of us there. Literally everybody on this team there. I think that each year or each time we go, a couple things happen. Like the first is the camaraderie, especially of that first day. We're together where we tend to do things we would never do, and we're tired and we're like in this different space, and it just really helps with that. And then you learn so much there about your business and about yourselves that you just want to put it into action. And so we all tend to come back like these balls of like energy that just want to explode, and we end up throwing up all over the rest of you, and you probably don't want to hear it, and just don't experience all of that. And I'd love if everybody was there.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. It's a good experience. And my brother lives there. I think I have a brother every time.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. So I have another brother that lives there.
What's Casey going to take us to do?
And Casey is.
I can't
Does he have a
wait.
convertible?
He has some big shoes to fill. Does he have a
No, but he has like dune buggies
He
and
has
mountain
dune buggies.
bikes and amazing
He
stuff.
has desert dune buggies.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah.
So we're gonna spend a day with my brother and see what he has up his sleeve.
This brother's a little bit more intense than the last brother.
This brother's pretty intense.
I've watched him videotape his daughter throwing up after a run.
Yeah.
Who
He
is-
posted it all over on
Who is
Facebook.
9?
He's like, look at this, everybody. I just went running with Madison. And he's like, what's wrong, honey? And she's like, "Rah."
You get him sick.
Yeah.
I'm like, Case, you're a horrible dad.
They go hard.
They
Yeah,
go
he
hard.
goes hard. He does. All right, so that'll be fun. Definitely get back to Jenna. She will follow up with you on that.
Yep. Any questions? Just see me. Space review. So as you noticed, Justin's back there putting cubicles together today with 0 instructions, which is
Yeah,
going
no
very, very
instructions.
well. He's like knocking them out. He's already putting the counters on, so they'll be done
In-
probably by the time we're out of this
Yep.
meeting.
Nice.
Oh.
Check them out.
We did decide, Drew and I made an executive decision to chop off the last 2. So there's only a row of 4 and then a row of 3, and we are putting 2 in that little cubby. So we'll probably put like the Warhorse to pull beads in there and Dave's video studio in that last corner one. So if you guys have suggestions or recommendations for space, I know it's tight in that 12-inch by 12-inch cubby that we gave you, like the daycare center. So if you have any suggestions or need more space, just let us know and we can try to figure it out.
And we're
brainstorm.
not done by any means. So like that little space probably will not be all that you have, but we needed to see what those would look like and then the closet and what extra space we have.
Yeah.
So we don't want you to think that this is it or anything like that. We're probably going to continue to work on it over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
And we're working on sound and all that good stuff.
Does anybody have recommendations
Yeah.
for extra storage
That's what I'm
space
looking for.
for yourselves? Like what
Yeah.
you
Stop
need?
bringing stuff into the office.
There's a recommendation.
There's a recommendation.
Yeah.
And getting everything electronic.
Getting everything electronic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Specifically, the daily trackers.
Yeah. So I would say that comment is a mindset shift, right? I mean, I used to carry everything with me, and I was assured that I had to. Like, I was just, how could you not? And now I don't really have a desk and haven't for a long time, and I don't have anything. And it's just a mindset shift. So let that happen. Like, if you don't have any place to put stuff, it'll force you, and it's going to feel bad. It's going to feel weird and, like, uncomfortable, and just let that kind of vet your stuff. And hopefully in a couple weeks, you'll be living in a different way. Does anybody else have any that if you do have stuff you want to keep here at the office,
Suggestions.
any suggestions on that?
We're open. So we'll just feel it
We'll
out
feel
over
it
the
out in
next
a
couple
space.
weeks and
The only-
just see how we feel.
The only suggestion I would have is in the closet. You know, I think I looked at the closet where the water heater is,
Yeah.
and I saw the stuff that was just kind of thrown in there by Justin, and there's no order to it.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of really deep shelves.
Yeah.
And I suspect that if we took the stuff that's in the closet by the electrical panel
Yeah.
and just
Denise
organized
actually
it.
gave that task to Justin today from the office.
Yes.
So Justin's going to be in there working, and whatever's left, we can ask if we're allowed to use.
So that would free up a lot of storage space there, and I would think that we could maybe build some shelves in there and use that.
For sure. Yeah, and I feel like I'm one of the best because everybody has seen my desk. Like, it usually looks like this table, and the only thing in my cubby right now is my bold folder and my business cards.
Yeah.
So I think that, and I have my work bag that's not overly exploding. So I think that we can
Do it.
work through it.
Reminder, buyer agent needed. We have a meet and greet tomorrow at 5. Do you have any idea attendance?
I think we have 6 or 7.
6 or 7?
Yeah.
Good.
No, is that here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you open up this too?
We don't have to.
We don't need to.
Because I have a new buyer.
You can also take
You
them to
do
the
the
backpack.
GSD?
Yeah.
There you go.
The endless possibilities now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just if you have any more suggestions, I'd love to invite them to the meet and greet tomorrow. So let me know that.
Yep.
Vision and core values contest. So for a snack in the back room, and it's a lovely snack back there. There is it.
They revamped it.
Yep. Yeah. It's
The original snack guy retired. We have a new snack person.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Whoever these
Up the
snack people
front.
There
are.
are Pop-Tarts.
it's looking good
Oh.
back there. So
Gotcha.
this is a pretty serious contest we're about to do. For a $1.10 snack back there.
I know you got more expensive.
I know. It's an extra 10 cents. We're gonna swing it. So,
We can swing it.
who in the room can say not only the team's passion this year, which is another word for kind of mission, but also 3 out of the 5 core values? Raise your hand.
Anita, you've been
Raise your hand high if you can say it. I didn't say you get to say it. Raise your hand high if you
What
think.
are we doing? Our passion.
If you can do passion
our
and
niche and our core value.
and 3 out of our
Our
passion
niche.
and 3 out of
No, not even our niche.
not our niche, just our passion and 3 out of 5 core values. Raise your hand high if you think you can do it. Andrew, Anita, Sinjin, Victoria.
I'm 2 of 4, solid 2 of 4.
He's a solid.
You a solid?
I'm solid 2 of 4.
All right, so I'm going to pick on Nidok.
Passion, 10 Rich Lives.
Yep,
And 3 out of 4 would be
3 out of 5.
or 3 out of 5. Yeah, that's okay. Empathy.
Mhm.
Compassion.
That's 1.
That's one.
Grit. Hard work.
Mhm.
2.
And growth mindset.
In pursuit of.
Excellence.
Nice job. Give him 2.
What are
All
the
right.
other 2?
Does anybody know the other 2?
Accountability.
And
And
The
discipline.
Discipline.
Accountability and discipline.
Mhm.
And one more.
was something about motivation.
Positivity and optimism.
Positivity and optimism. Just say Sinjin.
Sinjin.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yep. And I've noticed Victoria carries a little bit of that with her too.
She's great.
Yep. All right. Awesome. So John gets the snack of his choice in the back.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Good.
he
All right.
loves Pop-Tarts.
Lender transaction count. Anna 4, Andy 14, Jess 22. Good job with Andy.
Yeah.
He's shot up there. Poor Anna. I don't know how long Orstown will continue with us, but it is what it is. I mean, if they don't, it's you know, I know she's a bit of a struggle for you guys sometimes because she doesn't answer in the evenings.
Which, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love Anna. But I think there are some other lenders out there that.
Oh, there's
if
tons.
she were to pop off, you know,
Yeah.
There's tons.
Oh, yeah,
I
there's
don't.
tons.
I don't think that's a reason for me.
yeah.
That's not a reason for me at all because I respect that she doesn't work
Yeah.
in the evenings, and I think if
I
we're
don't
doing
think it's just the evenings. I think that there's just some other people that are a lot hungrier.
yeah,
And
like
are a little bit more.
She doesn't feel hungry.
She doesn't feel hungry. That's not the issue
Yeah.
of her working nights and weekends. I don't think is the issue.
Yeah.
I think
no,
it's just
that's it
Yeah.
for sure.
Quick listing review, and I'm actually going to stop this recording so it doesn't get too long. And you can go ahead if you have any lists. If you guys have any listings coming
Yeah, I
up.
think the only one we gave this one to Karen, but the only one really is a good one to talk about.